Remember, let us remember, remember, we are in the holy. Let us remember, presence of God, presence of God.
The liberal arts tradition holds that the intellect of the student must be active and engaged in order to develop the skills of inquiry, discovery, analysis, proof, and persuasion.
For us teachers, what that means is imbuing students with a love of learning, of helping them develop the intellectual habits of mind and skills so that they will continue learning after they leave this place.
I've been trying for 35 years to decide what the most important role of the professor is at St. Mary's College, and clearly there isn't a most important role. There are many important roles, and I can go off in many different directions. So I think, though, I might just take two basic directions that sort of relate to my talk. And one of them does have to do with the liberal arts tradition, the fostering the growth of understanding with students and fostering their ability to question and to think analytically and to learn how to think critically about their own ideas.
I think this is still primarily a liberal arts college. I think even the business school tries to raise questions of ultimate value, to bring in social justice, to go beyond mere training. So I think the school can make a fair claim to be a liberal arts college. I think it can make a fair claim to be a Catholic college. Remember, the word Catholic with a small c means universal. And I think it can make a fair claim to being a place where there is the universal search for truth.
If you're going to make a difference in the world, you have to start with the freedom of mind to understand the critical thinking. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, was through reading and talking about really rich texts, training your mind in reasoning and critical thinking.
The liberal arts tradition has invited us into not only continuing to grow, which I think all professors and teachers do with their students, but has given us a flexibility and an invitation to explore, or as Joseph Campbell has said, follow your bliss. I don't know how many professors of the year and others, but I was looking at the list the other day and thinking how many of us have changed our research interests and our questions and what we write about and what we think about. And many of us have been not only given permission, but encouraged to do that. So the liberal arts tradition, I think, encourages you to explore other areas than just the areas that you were prepared to study in graduate school.
Liberal arts, I'm a deep believer in liberal arts. I was trained, like most musicians, I was trained like a plumber with incredibly narrow, embarrassingly narrow education. This is the way musicians are generally educated. I took a job here because I was not into turning down full-time employment. And it was a very liberal arts place, and you tend to adapt to the institution you're at. I preferred a conservatory of music. I would have preferred that, or a big music department somewhere, like the places where I went to school. And I started having doing these different things, but it was my job, and then including collegiate seminar. And I mean, I found myself tremendously stretched here, and then you have colleagues at a small atmosphere where you meet many people outside your discipline. I taught at Cal State Hayward for 5 years in their music department. And in my 5 years, I met one person who wasn't in the music department, only because his offices were right next to all of ours. And 5 years, I never met anybody else that wasn't in music. And here you know so many interesting, stimulating people that are in all kinds of disciplines. And it's very stretching. I mean, the whole... And it's very stimulating, and I realized how much I was missing. It also affects my teaching.
Remember, we are in the holy. Let us remember, presence presence of God, presence of God. Remember